Hello friends and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I have not touched this garden since late last summer. It is filled with perennials and shrubs. They need a little love, my friends. We are doing a garden reset today on this very low maintenance garden. Low maintenance, extremely high performing. So my goal today is to share with you, if you have, say, I want a beautiful garden, but Jenny, I have no time to go out there and maintain, every day and spend hours in the garden. Baby, I hear you. I am going to share with you how to design a beautiful low maintenance garden, but also say that low maintenance doesn't mean no maintenance. You got to come in here every once in a while and do a little bit of love. But when you choose the right plants, they will do all of the heavy lifting for you in your garden, give you beautiful color, flowers, blooms. Your pollinators love them, and you're going to enjoy them as well. So come and join me on this beautiful, today is actually the last day of April. And in here in North Carolina, we have got nothing but beautiful blue skies. So we're going to have some fun resetting this low maintenance, not no maintenance garden. This garden is rarely seen by the public because it is at the very back of our property and it is on the back side of the garden shed. But just because it has low visibility does not mean that it should not be a beautiful display of flowers for those that do see it, and of course for the pollinators. We have been developing this garden for the last few years, but it definitely needs some attention in here for sure. So we're going to go through and just take care of some maintenance. So one, what is in here? Well, we have the Oakland hollies on the back side. We did this, we planted the Oakland hollies so that we would have beautiful green, evergreen structure because this is kind of, like I said, the back end of our property, and honestly, it tends to be like where we park the cars. So we want a structure that would help kind of disguise the cars. We have the white star magnolia. That is what this is right here. She's a very early spring bloomer, so obviously she is finished blooming. Be a great time to give her a little prune, my friend. And then, y'all, we have the cherry royale buddleias. And y'all, this is the part that, oh my heavens, this is what's gonna make a huge difference. Clearly, I have not pruned this buddleia. There's actually two in here. So we're gonna take care of that today. It is going to make a massive impact for multiple reasons. We'll talk about that later. We have got irises in here, eyeliner irises. I have got my unplugged So Blue salvia in here as well. It is technically is sold as an annual from Proven Winners and by Creekside, but it has proven itself to come back and be a perennial. And now that I'm thinking about it, this is either the unplugged So Blue or Plain the Blue salvia. The main difference is the size. The unplugged is smaller, the Plain the Blues is going to be larger. So I'll have to go back and double check with you on that. And then we have got some Rose of Sharon. We've got two different kinds rather. We've got Polly Petite, which is a nice small short one. She is in here front and center. And then we have two of the, these are like the dark purple, the chiffon series, and they need some attention as well because we need to give them a prune and give some structure to them as well. And then we've got Monarda, the bee balm. It is doing wonderful in here and has potentially some buds on it right now. We'll get in there and see, give a closer look to see how it is doing. And then we also have some guara. So this is the beautiful, again, it sells as an annual, but it will be a perennial for me. Nice dark pink flowers on it. This is the Carolee Petite Pink. So beautiful foliage. And then, y'all, I'm just now seeing, so we have a little section of daffodils in this one particular corner. And I had planted last year Vermillionaire between it. In the late summer, fall, I did not pull them. I just cut them to the ground to see if they would come back. And look. Now that one's not, massive, but Look at the one back there. There you go. Even after the cold winter we had, that vermillionaire is coming back, and there's a few more in there. So while this is a very low maintenance garden, right? I have not touched it since last year. Overall, it looks decent, right? Now, I know it's not perfect. There's no such thing as perfection, my friend. Perfect is only found in the dictionary. Remember that. Are there weeds in here? Yes. Is it overrun with weeds? No, it is not. Do we need to do some pruning and some cleaning up? Sure, not a problem. We can do that. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to get in here and I'm going to go ahead and just cut back all my daffodil foliage. They've stored up enough food and foliage through their foliage for next year. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them down to the ground because that is going to allow me to see everything else in there. I'm gonna cut down the daffodil foliage, and as I come across a weed, I'm gonna pull it. We're gonna take care of that. We're not gonna plant any annuals in this bed today. I'm gonna keep it low maintenance. We're gonna keep it simple, sweetie, this year. However, I am gonna add 2 brand new, gorgeous clematis from Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. We'll talk about that in a little bit. First, let's start the cleanup process and get the daffodils cut back and the weeds out. My friends, just cutting back the daffodil foliage has made a huge difference. My poor salvia and guara, they can now actually breathe. You can see the plants. The plants can get sunlight all around them and get nice and thick and full and give me gorgeous blooms all summer long. Now I can hear the peanut gallery right now. Well, Jenny, your daffodil foliage was not brown. It was still green and you just cut it to the ground. You're not gonna have any flowers next year. You know what? Maybe so, but I am a tough love gardener. These guys have had foliage since February. It is now the end of April. They've stored up enough food, all right? They'll be fine. There's grace in gardening, and worst case scenario, I get no flowers next year. Well, guess whose problem that is? That's my problem. So it was much better, in my opinion, to go ahead and cut down, remove that daffodil foliage so that these plants can get the sunlight that they need so that they can grow, bloom, and thrive all summer long. The amount of weeds that were in this bed were extremely small. That's because there's so many plants in here. There was really not any room for weeds. There was like 2 kind of, quote, big ones in one corner. Most of them were little thin, little spindly grass along the front edge where there were no plants. So the weed maintenance control on this bed was really good. Now, the next big thing that's going to make a huge difference on how not only the bed looks right now, but also how it's going to perform for the rest of the summer. What am I talking about? Pruning. We've got 3 different types of plants, shrubs, trees that we are going to prune. They desperately need it. Let me tell you why. First, we're going to start with the easiest, the Rose of Sharon. So like I said, I've got the Poly Petite and then that dark purple chiffon in the back. All of your Rose of Sharons bloom on new growth. That means we prune them so that they will give us good buds. Now, I'm actually seeing, I do believe on Miss Poly Petite that there could be some buds already forming right here. So there's a bud here, and then I think there is some buds right here. So I'm just going to go through and lightly, like, take just a little bit of the top off, just a little bit, right? So I am talking about like 6 inches. Obviously, Polly Petite, given her name, she is a very short, petite Rose of Sharon. That is why she's in the front of the flower bed. Now, for the dark chiffons, what I'm going to do is give them a little bit more of a haircut, because you can especially see the one on the right. You see how it's like flopping? It's very tall, it's thin at the top, and it's starting to flop. We're flopping in both directions. I want my Rose of Sharon to be nice and dense and tightly packed, and then they can grow. Your chiffons are going to be big. And I am perfectly fine with taking my time and pruning them so that they have a nice structure and shape to them, and then they're not floppy. So the one that's closest to us is not going to get a terrible haircut. We're just going to shape it up. Make sure that the structure is there. And then the one in the background, we're going to go ahead and prune. So like this limb right here, we're going to cut it back really well. Same thing over here, and then we're going to top it. And at the end, both of these Rose of Sharons will be the same size, right? So I want them to be the same height, because obviously I want them to be companions, brothers and sisters, or, you know, siblings, shall we say, so that they're very similar in size and give us that structure. The big elephant in the room is the buddleia. I started thinking, I don't know that I pruned it last year, y'all. That, you know, I just keep it real with you. That's the thing about gardening with me. I'm going to be honest with you, and you're going to see my messes and you're going to see my successes, because you know what? We're all living this thing called life, and we are pulled in 10 million different directions every single day. And the last thing we need to be stressed about is our garden. It should serve us and bring us joy. And sometimes, some years, multiple years in a row, maybe you don't do exactly what you're supposed to do in your garden. But you know what? When you go back there to your garden, it is there. Maybe it needs a little extra work than if you had done the regular maintenance, but that's okay, my friends, because we all have responsibilities. If you're, most of us are working, right? A lot of us are parents, or we have aging parents we're taking care of. We're moving in a million different directions from different responsibilities that we have. Grace in gardening, my friends, grace in life. The garden will be there when you are ready for it. So if you don't prune your buddleias for 2 years and they look like wild beasts, it's okay. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. So the sure sign that this desperately needs to be pruned is, one, I want you to really look. Most of the foliage is all up at the top, okay? When we go down and we look underneath, we have got just stalks. There's no foliage down there. I see a little bit of new foliage underneath there, which is very, very encouraging, because we're going to give this bad boy a very extreme haircut. And so then the other one over here is the exact same way. Y'all, they are just literally overtaking this bed. So we are going to give it a massive cut. I have got my loppers with me. We are just going to whack it. It is going to be basically sticks. Some of you are going to freak out. I promise it's okay. So what we're going to do is this order. We're going to do the Rose of Sharon, because they're easy. Then we're going to do the Cherry Royale, because that is next. And then after that is done, and we can see exactly what we have and everything, then we're going to lightly prune our star magnolia. Just give it a little bit of a shape up, but right now the buddleia is all up in it, and it's hard to see what is what. So here we go. right, my friends, did you have a heart attack? Like, I know some of you, your little hearts are just racing right now, and you're like, oh my gosh, Jenny, you have absolutely killed your butterfly bushes. What have you done, woman? Nope, haven't killed them. I have rejuvenated them. Every so often, shrubs sometimes just need a hard rejuvenation, and buddleias certainly can fall into that category. So while, yes, I told you, I gave you fair warning that I was going to come in here and just whack these guys. And I did, and they will be perfectly fine. I have no doubt whatsoever. You do see that we have drip irrigation in this bed. I think it's been running, but I can't absolutely guarantee that. I have not checked the system yet. So while the system is running, I do not know honestly if this is irrigating or not. Honestly, it doesn't look like it because the ground is not moist at all. I will check that to make sure, but we're supposed to be getting some good rain here in the next couple of days, so that will certainly help. And then fertilizer. After pruning and cleaning up the bed, the next thing that we need to do is to feed these plants with some slow release fertilizer. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not going to do it today. I have it right there, but I'm not going to do it. There's two reasons. Why is that? Well, the main reason is because, and really the only reason today, the only reason I'm not doing it today is because today is Thursday, and Thursday is Jerry and my date night. We have a standing date night on Thursdays, and we're going to we're going to grill some steaks and eat on the patio, and the patio is close by. And the last thing we want to smell on date night is plant tone. And so we're going to keep that fragrance out of the garden for today. So what I will do is come back before it rains. Today is Thursday, it's supposed to rain on Saturday. So sometime tomorrow I will come through here and put down the plant tone. You can use plant tone, holly tone, rose tone, whatever tone you got. Just use that, feed your plants, and they will be very happy. So I'll just do a broadcast application of the fertilizer. So there you go. So no fertilizer today because it's date night, but other than that, then we're gonna feed those plants. The buddleias, they will bounce back and be super happy. And the plants that the butterfly bushes were covering are gonna be really happy. So there was multiple salvias that were getting hidden by the butterfly bushes. So there's one back there behind the eyeliner iris. And I even had the backside of the irises of these two, and then that one in the background was completely covered in the butterfly bush. And then there was a salvia back there that was getting covered up. So they're going to be very, very happy. Now, thinking long term, that iris that is back there in the background, it probably does need to be moved. So I can go ahead and move it. It's a perfect time or opportunity to go ahead and divide it and add it to other parts of the garden. And then we didn't talk about it, but I just went ahead and did it. Shaped up the star magnolia. Y'all, if you didn't know that I had pruned it, then you wouldn't know that it had been pruned. And that was my goal, just to take any of kind of those limbs that were getting a little out there. I just brought them back just a little bit, keeping it nice and tight, keeping that good habit on it. Again, you can see where there was the plants over here were getting smothered by the daffodil foliage and the star magnolia. So now they've got sunshine on them, and they will just grow, bloom, and thrive and be very, very happy. We've got one last thing to do. We are going to add a brand new clematis from Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. Y'all, this is such a cool, beautiful clematis. This is called Moongate Mocha. And Moongate Mocha is very unique and different in the fact that it's got beautiful, like, chocolate foliage on it. And then it will have like satiny pink flowers. Is this not the prettiest thing ever? Now, obviously she's not in bloom right now. It's okay, but your Moongate Mocha is going to be hardy in zones 5 to 9. I am an 8, perfect. Full sun to part sun, got it. 10 to 15 tall, 10 feet wide. So there you go. So we are going to take 2 of them, and we are going to plant one in the center of each of the panels. Now, if you're a faithful viewer of Creekside, then you know that I historically will always do the climbing sweet potato vine. The upside key lime here is a very chartreuse sweet potato vine. You can see probably some of that old foliage that is left on the chicken wire. Y'all, this used to be our chicken coop, so hence why it looks the way it does. But I thought Moongate Mocha would be absolutely beautiful right here. So that's what we're going to do. Super easy. These are 1 gallon containers, but I have my Jenny's Edition 5-inch drill, auger on the drill. So we're just going to use that. I can wiggle the hole, make it nice and big. And then I've got my Biotone starter fertilizer. I have a hole in the bag, so it's in the bucket. And then get these planted and then get them watered in, and boom, we are done. My friends, 2 hours later, so that's 2 hours in real time, and I'm filming a video, so it takes you longer. The bed has been rejuvenated, given its TLC. We've got the Moongate Mochas in the ground. They've been watered. They are going to take off and be so happy. But the difference in this bed is massive. Just giving that little bit of love and attention to your low maintenance garden is going to pay off in huge dividends later on. Actually, just not even that long, because you know we've already got the salvias that are blooming, and these are playing the blues because they're bigger. They're not the unplugged blue. And so everybody is just going to be so extremely happy to be able to breathe, get the sun. And when you look at the before picture and then versus what it looks like now, just a huge difference. It was clearly the butterfly bushes were way out of control. And that's not the butterfly bushes' fault. That's the gardener's fault. But as I preach to you in just about every single video, there is grace in gardening. The Lord bestows grace upon us, and he bestows grace in our garden, and that is okay. You know what? If you let something go, fine, not a problem. Get in there and fix it. But just know that if you're like, I want to have pretty flowers, Jenny, I want to have a pretty garden, I just don't have the time to like devote a ton of attention and hours to the garden. You can do it, y'all. There are plants out there. All of these right here, whether they're shrubs or they're trees, or they are annuals that will actually come back and be a perennial for you. You can have those high performing, low maintenance plants that will give you beautiful flowers, support your pollinator population, and just brings a little bit of joy to the corner of your world. So it feels great to have this done. Like I said, I will come back tomorrow after date night, give it a nice little dose of fertilizer, and be very happy right before the rain. It'll be great. Now, total side note, I am sitting here staring in front of me, y'all. Our family is about to be over inundated, like blessed, shall we say, with a huge crop of blackberries. Let me show you. Yes, I know they're wild. Yes, I know they're weeds. Yes, they're out of control. That's okay. We're going to choose to look at the blessing. Y'all, can you see the massive number of blackberries that are covering these thornless blackberry bushes? I actually have 2 different kinds in here. This is the Osage from Southern Living Plant Collection. They are prolific. Look at this. I mean, massive. We still have some flowers on there. There was a bumblebee, so we're gonna have more berries. And then we come down here to the last one. And this is the Taste of Heaven from Proven Winners. All of these are thornless, give you delicious, delicious blackberries. And there you go. So I'm gonna have to figure out, we're gonna do blackberry cobbler, blackberry jam, blackberry everything. So if you have a favorite blackberry recipe, share it with me, because I'm gonna have to put it to good use. If you just saw, our newest teen driver has just arrived. He brought us lunch. Praise the Lord. You know, some parents, they like freak out when their kids start driving. Not me. I'm like, yes, it is great. Bring on the independence and the freedom from my kiddos. I love it. So, total side note, total personal note there. We're done. It's a great day. Garden's happy. I'm happy. My tummy's getting ready to be happy. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.